As we should preach by example by respecting the law.
But when we look at the, I know we are not talking about lawyers per se, but still in line with that community, when we look at the Bar Council in itself and we look at the activities of lawyers, one is tempted to say that the law now have eyes, which it ought not to be, because you see it's more gearing towards political issues. People affiliate themselves to a particular political ideology than being on the balance and giving justice to the common man.
Yes, that is what we are fighting for, that the bar is apolitical. So the lawyers
and non-partisan.
Exactly, lawyers should not do politics. So our sole guiding principle is the law. And when we don't have a strong bar, it automatically affects the civil society. So that's the more reason that we want to have a strong bar, so as to make it being felt within the chain of the justice system. Because if all the time you have lawyers who are arrested, tortured, what about citizens that are being detained arbitrarily or being arrested arbitrarily? So we need a strong bar, and that is what we are advocating for, that we should respect the law. The people who are having the leadership now, their mandate have expired, and it is high time that the organs be renewed.
Thank you, Barrister Tanfo. So briefly, it means that after this, if this is organized, we're sure that the law will no longer have eyes. It's going to be blind.
It's our fervent wish.
Thank you. We'll take on this brief advert before we come back. When we come back, we'll dive straight into the topic.
Since 1993, EUG is 3 schools: ESG, ISTA, ISA, 3 ultra-modern campuses with more than 40 specialties in BTS, HND, DCEP, professional bachelors and professional masters. More than 15,000 graduates and more than 115 million francs scholarships granted to students. Many national and international partnerships, and more is still to come. At EUG,
we train leaders since 1993.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of our program. A happy Sunday to all those of you who wrote the GCE and celebrated. Passed the GCE. Those who did not pass, we want to say that still congratulations to you too, because God has a reason. There is a reason for everything and a purpose for everything. In case you did not make it, just know that there is a reason for that. We kickstart today's edition. Begin with you, Barrister Tanfo. Barrister Tanfo, last time we did not settle as far as arrest is concerned, and in terms of arresting on a public holiday, in terms of arresting on a weekend, and in terms of arresting above 6 p.m. with an arrest warrant on cases that are not felony or misdemeanor. Now, people sent us a series of questions. They sought to know the difference between remand and arrest. I have a lot of university students in Boya under the law department who asked that we should clarify them what the law says about remand and arrest. The differences.
Yes, those are two different concepts. You are arrested to be remanded. So when they arrest you, you can be remanded in police. When they arrest you, you can be remanded in custody. Now, for the circumstances of arrest, I think we handled that last week. So you can be arrested to be remanded at the police. So now the police remand is what should interest people, because if when they are arrested to be at the police, if you are being observed, maybe for example, if you were asked your identity card and you didn't give it, the police has the powers to arrest you and keep you for 24 hours. That's a day. The other one now is that if you commit an offense and maybe police investigations has opened, you'll be arrested. You'll be arrested and put in police custody, whereby you will be there for 48 hours renewable. If there should be any other renewal, that should be under the authorization of the State Council. So meaning that if I commit, if, for example, if they ask my ID card and I don't present, the policeman has the right to arrest me and to keep me for 24 hours. After that, he should decide on my case, either to leave me go or open an investigation. But if I commit an offense and after investigation there are charges that they need to arrest me at the police or keep me, that is, when I say arrest, that is being remanded in police custody, the law provides that it's for 48 hours, renewable once. And if there should be any other renewal, it should be under the authority, express authority of the State Council. Now, there's what they also call remand in custody. Remand in custody is what people generally call awaiting trial. When you are, for example, under police custody and the 48 hours has expired, there's another possibility of renewal once has reached. You are being presented before a State Council who now decides on your fate. If you are going to prison, that is what we call remand in custody. Either you can go there while your case is going in court, or you are remanded in custody because they will open another investigation, this time around managed or being piloted by an examining magistrate. So, and the period for remand in custody is also well known. When it is signed for 6 months when you've committed a felony or a misdemeanor. Now, if it's a crime that you have committed, if it has to be renewed, it can be renewed for another 12 months. But if it is a misdemeanor that you committed,
that is 1 year, 6 months.
Exactly. But if it is a felony, if it is a misdemeanor you committed, it can be renewed once. That's 12 months. So for felonies, if you commit a felony and you are in remand in custody and you have been signed a remand in custody, the examining magistrate can keep you there for 18 months while carrying out his investigation.
That is close to 2 years.
And before the examining magistrate, you are not yet before the court. It is thereafter now that you will be, if he finds that you are charges weigh against you, he now commits you, he now sends you to the court. He now signs a committal order that you now go to the court to defend yourself. So the other remand, which is for misdemeanors, is that you are being remanded for 6 months, and after 6 months, they renew again for 6 months, so 12 months before. So they can keep you within that period, but you are going to court to defend yourself.
Okay, I don't know if you wanted to read the provisions or you wanted to add.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just wish to say that, because most people, when they say arrest, and most people confuse between arrest and summon. If you summon you, for instance, what they call, because mostly like myself, I know that it's convocation. The one magistrate was the one who told me that is summon.
No,
in English.
Convocation is the French appellation.
Yeah, the French appellation. Yes. So now, when you are summoned, you report yourself to the police or to the State Council. Now, if you can only be arrested if you did not attend to the summon, that's when now they can issue, and even if you were the police now can issue the second summon if you don't attend. The police now has the right to go to the State Council to take a warrant and arrest you, and after you are arrested, you will be detained or you will be remanded in police custody, as my senior colleague have already said. I don't want to go into that again. So we need to know that, as we said last time, there are certain times that you cannot be arrested. Yes, and if you don't attend to arrest, well, usually a warrant of arrest is issued, it's only when you have violated the law. Because normally, as a law-abiding citizen, you are supposed to attend to any summon. If the tell you the State Council wants to see you, go and attend to the summon. And if after the summon now, the State Council says there is need for investigation, they can tell the both of you to go home, the complainant and the plaintiff to go home, and come tomorrow, the next day, or it depends on the day, with your witnesses. That is the process of investigation. If after investigation, they see that it's a matter of maybe sending the case in court, they send the case to court, you leave your house and go to court. In that case, you don't need to be arrested. Yes, so we should be law-abiding citizens.
Now, Barrister raised an issue. I wonder if you could read the provisions he talked about. The provisions he articulated on arrest and remand in terms of felony and misdemeanor. Maybe you can give him the provisions like...
Yeah, if it is for arrest, you should be looking around 30, sections 30.
Yes, arrest, let me...
30, section 32. So.
Yes, arrest. Section 30 of the Criminal Procedure Code define arrest as apprehending a person for the purpose of bringing him before the authority prescribed by the law or by the warrant. An arrest warrant is issued by a judicial police or any officer of the forces of law and order. Notwithstanding, in a situation where an offense is committed flagrante delicto, that is, you are caught red-handed, anybody can conduct an arrest. The identity of the person affecting the arrest shall be disclosed, and the person to be arrested informs on the reason for the arrest. And where there is the need, a third person is allowed to accompany the person arrested, and the person is being detained.
Okay, that's a criminal procedure code, or is a book?
It's extracted from a criminal procedure code.
Okay, because I was expecting the articles. Okay, so that's also a book.
Yes, you already read it. You already read it last.
Okay.
Last time.
I want us to, Barrister, you raise an issue between remand in custody based on felony and misdemeanor. And you talked about 6 months renewable for misdemeanor and 12 months renewable for felony if investigations is ongoing, and which means it could be extended for 18 months. Now, people are somehow confused between these two words when it comes to felony, misdemeanor. You know, when we are talking about this in context, the local person who is down there probably may be thinking that it's a kind of crime that, you know, are committed by politicians, or a kind of crime that are committed by people of higher places. Maybe they don't understand this. So I want you, legal mind, to break it down, what a felony is and what misdemeanor is. And now, if also you can be arrested, or you can be, you know, arrested when you have been summoned, you go to attend a summon. If you can be arrested, because he said you cannot be arrested when you go and attend a summon.
Let me break things down. Offenses are classified into 3 categories according to sections 21 of the Penal Code. You have felonies. A felony is simply an offense that if you commit that offense, if you commit that offense and you are found guilty, you risk a prison term of 10 years and above. A misdemeanor is an offense that, misdemeanor are offenses that if you commit it, you risk an imprisonment term from 10 days, from 10 days to and less than 10 years. So within that interval of 10 days and 10 years, if you are found guilty for misdemeanor, that's what you have a sentence, or imprisonment term. Now, simple offenses are for 1 day up to 10. So that's the simplest definition of those terms. Once you have understood that, okay, you will now read. If you commit an offense, you will have to refer yourself to the penal code. That, okay, if, for example, if there is theft, the penal code gives how many years? If the penal code says theft is 5 years, then it means that that theft
under
felony,
misdemeanor,
yeah, misdemeanor,
which can use 10 days to 10, less than 10 years.
Yes. So if the judge now gives you maybe, if theft is 5 years, you see that is a misdemeanor.
The issue of rape.
Yes, even issue of rape. Now, if it is an aggravated theft with guns and everything, you risk 10 years and above. That's a felony. So it's just circumstances that will determine whether you are before a felony, or you are before a misdemeanor, or you are before a simple offense. So that's how offenses are being classified. So except you want me again to say anything, that's
yeah, before you come, because I'm happy you have break this down, because people may be confused about the legal jargons. And now, which is clear that you said from felony, these are offenses which, if found guilty, it ranges from 10 years and above.
Good.
Therefore, it can't be murder. It can be when you murder someone,
exactly.
Aggravated murder,
aggravated
theft, and it can be somehow terrorism,
exactly.
Terrorism and treason. Those are felonies, crime with capital offensive.
Exactly.
And now crime with less offensive, based on what you're saying, is that 10 days and above, meaning that simple theft, and somehow manslaughter.
Yes, so little offenses.
Meaning that you did not intentionally.
False pretense.
Yes.
So misappropriation.
So now, where does non-possession of ID card find itself?
That's a simple offense. That's a simple offense.
But we have people who have been detained for more than 2 months or 3 months because of not presenting their national identity card.
Yes, that's an arbitrary use of the law, and that is why some of us have to advocate for such abuses to stop, because it becomes an illegal detention. Because at the end of the day, you can be detained for 6 months, and when you are found guilty, they say, okay, you will be guilty for maybe 5 days imprisonment, but whereas you have been in prison for 6 months.
So who pays now for the extra months you spent?
Good. So there is another provision under. There's a commission at the Supreme Court, a commission for compensation, that if you think that your detention was illegal and that you suffered some damages, you can seize that commission at the Supreme Court with all their evidence and everything, and then the state will have to compensate you. So that's another procedure for the day.
Has there been any case into that people have benefited? You are a legal mind.
Yes,
the public should know that.
Yes.
If they are arrested and held illegally, after some time with their evidence, they can follow this procedure. What are the procedures?
Yes, I am into the practice, and it is really working. And even in the criminal procedure code, just that around the section, there should be around 500 and something, whereby when you think that you were illegally detained and that you suffered damages, when you seize that commission, if they find that the magistrate that signed your remand in custody violated or was at fault or violated the law, he is being sentenced to maybe pay some compensation, because you want to be compensated. You are not going there to say the magistrate should go to prison as well. You are going there because you think that they illegally kept you in prison for 6 months, and the magistrate who signed that remand in custody violated the law. So you are asking compensation that the state should pay you maybe 10 million francs, and that magistrate, if after a ruling it is found that that magistrate violated the law, his money, his salary will be cut and paid to you. So the state has that possibility of deducting the money from his salary and then making yourself be paid. It works very well, just that people don't know and people don't go to claim for what is belonging to them.
You wanted to say something, so that I'll ask about the issue of ID card further.
Yes, I want to say that in felony, in some countries where death penalty is still the practice, you can be sentenced by death penalty, and you can also be sentenced life imprisonment when it concerns felony. Yes, and also they have mentioned the crimes like armed robbery, aggravated theft, and all those things like that, murder, rape, because most people rape particularly in this Douala, people rape anyhow. They don't even know the consequences of their actions. Then misdemeanors now are simple offenses. You steal in somebody's farm.
Rape is a misdemeanor, not a felony.
You steal in somebody's farm, and rape is a felony, because in the course of rape you force somebody to do something against his wish.
Read the provision of the law, sections 296 of the penal code. If you have a copy, you read it.
Yes, against his wish. Okay, what type of rape? Maybe it's I don't know.
Maybe why he search? Maybe because
let him search.
People should understand this. Yes.
Okay, so now, like misdemeanors, when you steal in somebody's farm, all those things, because it's good that the viewers should know, so that when you commit any crime, know that you are committing this type of a crime. Yes, and simple offenses like littering the road, maybe easing yourself where you were not supposed to ease yourself, and all those small crimes like that. And it also have penalty by fine. For instance, you see, maybe in Douala they will put there, don't throw the fish here, 25,000 fine. Those are simple offense. If you commit it, you pay your 25,000 francs, they leave you, or maybe they can hold you and detain you until you pay.
Certain number of days.
Yeah, certain number of days until you pay before you leave. So those are examples of simple offenses.
Now, I will remember you why barrister look at the provisions for rape. We've looked at this issue of, keeping people under custody between public holidays and non-public holidays, and there's still that nuance that people experience in terms of you cannot arrest above 6 p.m. You cannot arrest during public holiday. The provisions is not quite clear as far as that is concerned.
Okay, the provision is not clear because the provision 21 which was read talk of remand. But to answer that question, we need to ask ourselves certain questions. Who order for an arrest? And when you are arrested, who are you supposed to be present to? The questions, if I can answer, is that the person who order for arrest, is the state council. That's the first thing. And when someone is arrested, that person is supposed to be reported to the state council. Although in Cameroon, at times the police arrest you. Instead, they just come and hold you, handcuff you, take you to the police station, and lock you for 1 week, 2 weeks, without even report. And after maybe your family come and bail you, and they leave you. It ends like that. But normally, when a policeman arrests you, he's supposed to show you an warrant of arrest. And when there is a warrant of arrest, the police need to keep you in custody. And I said before, when you are summoned, now you attend to the summon. If it is police, attend to the summon. But if you don't attend to the summon, if you attend to the summon, maybe for instance, somebody accused me that I slapped maybe the wife, I attend, I explain myself to the police. If the person is still insisting, they can say, okay, go on Monday or Tuesday, bring witnesses. When we bring our witnesses, and after they discover that I actually committed a crime, or I was at a fault, at that juncture now, the police can decide that, okay, now, should we send a case to court?
Okay.
Or not?
Okay.
If you accept, then they should send a case to court. But if you don't attend to the summon, the second one, the police go to the state council, they issue a warrant of arrest, and that case, they must lock you up.
Okay.
And it must not be executed on a public holiday after 6 p.m. After 6 p.m. and on Sundays.
Barrister Tanfu, you wanted to react on that issue of rape. Maybe we look at the provisions again. If where does it fall?
Yes, sections 296 of the Penal Code talks about rape. Whoever by force or moral ascendancy compels any person with whether above or below the age of puberty to have sexual intercourse with him shall be punished with imprisonment for from 5 years to 10 years. So if it's not a felony, it's a misdemeanor. So felonies are 10 years and above.
Now this one is 5 years
to 10
years,
exactly.
Which fall under misdemeanor.
Exactly.
Except on issues where he has an aggravating circumstance.
Exactly.
Let's say a history.
Good.
You have a history of raping people, so it fall under now a felony because it's a pattern.
Exactly. It can now become aggravated.
Yes, because there's no mitigating factor there that can reduce the sentence. Okay, we'll be coming back. That greetings, House of Commons. Please ask Barrister Tanfu if, as per charges for misdemeanor, and after a person is charged for misdemeanor, being remanded for 18 months, and after the investigation, the person is not found guilty, will the accused be compensated for the wasted time? Daniel from Bamenda.
I didn't get the question you said.
Greetings, House of Commons. Please ask Barrister Tanfu if a person is charged for misdemeanor and after being remanded for 18 months and after the investigation, the person is not found guilty, will the accused be compensated for the wasted time?
Yes,
Daniel from Bamenda.
Yes, the answer is yes. You need to know that when you are before such a situation, there is a commission, a compensatory commission at the Supreme Court, which is like a body, is well established, where you seize that commission and you explain to them that, okay, these are the circumstances. I have been in prison for this, and this is my case, and at the end of the day I was found not guilty. When you seize that commission, the commission too will do a summary investigation to verify whether what you are saying are correct. And once that is done, there is a ruling that will be passed against the people who perpetrated such act, because you cannot be under remand custody without somebody signing for you to be there. So if it's a magistrate that violated the law in remanding you, like I said, his salary is going to be deducted. So there's a possibility for that. If he's victim of such circumstances and he doesn't know what to do, let him seek the services of a lawyer. The lawyer will help him.
Now, but Stanford, in these cases where people are just arrested, there's a cliche that we experience in the northwest and southwest region where it talks about Kale. And so you see people are just arrested with or without ID cards, and sometimes kept into custody for more than 5 weeks, sometimes 2 months, and others at one point in time they are kept on at waiting trial. I want to get this decision. In this case now, after you have gone through all these and you are later released, who compensates you? You talked about the issue of the magistrate, but in this case of Kale, general, where they call, ransomment.
Yes, there is what also known as habeas corpus. When somebody is illegally arrested and detained, there's a procedure they call habeas corpus, where that's a quick procedure asking the judge that they should present you before him, and if he sees that your detention and arrest were illegally, he should immediately release you. So the criminal procedure code has a lot of advantages that you cannot, except you don't know what to do. That's when you can say, okay, you'll be kept, or maybe because the system is tight as it is, that is when they are not applying it. Because once you think that maybe in a situation of a Kale, as you just said, and people you are arrested maybe simply because you don't have an ID card, seek the services of a lawyer that please file for a habeas corpus application. Explain to the judge that I am being illegally detained because I was not having an ID card, and if they follow up the procedure, your release will be immediate.
And now it will be immediate. My issue now comes with the compensation.
Of course,
because the magistrate paid the compensation.
No.
In this case, that was a group, or is it that the person who ordered for the Kale pay bonds?
Like I said, nobody enters the prison without a document. So if you are in prison because you did not have an ID card, maybe in an atmosphere of Kale, as you said, somebody signed.
Yes. The commissioner must sign a detention order.
Somebody signed your detention order. Yes. Let me call it like that. So in that case, it is that person who signed it that will be called to answer. And if it is found that he did not verify that actually there was an offense against you, or the reason for which they are keeping you is a serious offense, then obviously the commission is going to give a ruling and you'll be paid, you'll be compensated for that action.
Now, Barrister Tanfu, you talk about before moving now to detention, I want us to look at detention, but briefly, you talked about the issue of ID card. The issue of ID card is something that Cameroonians, it's difficult to even have this ID card as we speak right now. And myself, my ID card got expired and I did a new one, and the Fcfa has expired. I've been extending. Now, in this case now where you see someone is asked an ID card and doesn't present it and is arrested, why does the law make this provision that, okay, if you are asked an ID card, you don't present it, you are instantly arrested? What makes it a crime?
I am not a lawmaker. Maybe the people drafted the legislation.
But you defend people of this.
What I'm saying is that as a Cameroonian citizen, it's an obligatory right for you to be moving with the ID card at any time, at any place. Because even if you go to the toilet and you come back, on your way, if the toilet is far from you, on your way, if a policeman stops you, he has the right to ask you your ID card, and you have the obligation to present it to him. But before presenting it to him, also ask him to present himself. You will not just see somebody with a uniform and he tells you, give me your ID card. You should be able to know to who you are giving your ID card. So if you don't have your ID card at that instant, it is a law that has been drafted by draftmen and voted in parliament. So we have accepted to work in that in those conditions. So it's not me who come and create a new modus operandi. So if you are requesting your ID card and you are not able to present it, it becomes an offense, a simple offense, which the policeman has the right to keep you.
And how many days do you spend under custody with that kind of offense?
24 hours. And within that 24 hours, you are not able to produce your ID card, he's going to make his police report and forward to the state council. And the state council maybe will send you to prison. That, okay, because the state council, it's a simple offense. Yes, we know it's a simple offense. Okay, maybe after 10 days, if he's happy, he can release you. But you were not having your ID card, so it tells you to wait. So if you are able to present your ID card maybe after a ruling or whatsoever, you see that maybe before you are being judged and sentenced, you have spent 6 months. And they will sentence you for a simple offense that could just be 10 days. So you are the one who is losing. So that's the more reason why we say that first of all, He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Make sure that you yourself are already in order. If you are not in order, then you fall victim of such violations. And if you fall victim of such violations, you have the right to go to the Supreme Court Commission on compensation. You file, and if you have written, you will be paid.
Case is now of expired ID card. That you are arrested based on the fact that maybe your ID card expired 2 days ago, and now is there a mitigating circumstance in this regard that it's not like you didn't have the ID card, but maybe the ID card got expired?
Well, an expired ID card is not one ID card. So if your ID card has expired, then
fall under that category of
course you are not having,
for arrest.
You are not having an ID card if your ID card has expired. If your ID card expires, you are not in possession of the ID card. So why we should make our audience understand that administration has its own responsibility. You the citizen too, you have your own responsibility. If your ID card expires, before it even expires, make sure that you already ask for a renewal. And if the administration is dragging, unfortunately we don't have any other means to force the administration to make sure that your ID card is ready on time. People have suffered that, not because of his own inability to apply for an ID card, but because the administration has been delaying and it is causing him a prejudice. That is why you see most of the time people who do politics, we always draw the attention of the executive that Cameroonians are suffering. Even ID cards that they pay for, they are unable to have it, and that at times even those ID cards are expensive, and that it's not only when elections are around the corner.
But these are things that the bar itself, the bar council, should look into. I know you are a member of the bar, but maybe not an executive, but these are issues that the bar can look into and say, hey, because we've seen other nations where the team of lawyers and their legal team always propose and make some amendment and suggestion to lawmakers and telling them that, hey, this issue of ID card is a necessity. Yes, the Cameroonians are having problems, and you cannot be arresting all Cameroonians because their ID cards have expired. By virtue of that,
it's true, Cameroon has its own specificity. You know, the bar is not an autonomous organ in Cameroon. The bar has a supervisory authority, which is the Ministry of Justice. And at the same time, even those magistrates have been appointed by the head of state, which is the chief of the executive. So actually in Cameroon, we don't leave the separation of powers that you see in other countries. So it's not like the bar should be indifferent. It's something that the bar can put an attention or maybe draw the attention of the state, because the bar is like the guarantor of rights. And you agree with me that at times even some laws are being voted in parliament without even the bar being consulted, which is a violation. People who are to be in parliament should be lawyers, so that they are the ones who scrutinize the bills. But how many lawyers do politics? So there's a whole problem that if we want to solve the problems of Cameroon, we cannot solve it in one day.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you in the studio, especially Barrister Tanfo. This is coming from Gibeto Salu. This other one, those of you watching us online, I'm taking now on your comments. I see you watching us. This other one is from Pavita. It says, what about a case? What about a case of kidnapped? Is it a felony or misdemeanor? I'm sure after when Mr. Photo speak, Barrister Tanfo answer that what about the case of kidnap? Is it a felony or misdemeanor? This other one read, is it William Mayor says, is that Criminal Procedure Code of France? Fondon Richard, our fervent viewer, says, all I know is that Cameroon is a failed state and a lawless country. The Minister of Territorial Administration says Cameroon is a state of law now, Mr. Fondon Richard. This other read, Timmy Mass MP says it's always easy to explain on platform like how many people have been convocated and not end up locked up. They cry. Ngu Franklin says no court matter in this country, neither does the constitution. All this news chanting is just one time for miracle to happen. Fondon Richard, greetings to you. Greetings from Moliko Boya, getting you live. I am Aquin Demanus Pompidou, my man at the University of Boya. Pompidou, a happy Sunday to you too. This other one reads, it says, nice program, Barrister Tanfo. You are making me proud. I'm learning a lot as far as this is concerned. We will be glad to always have you to brief Cameroonians on common things that matter, because I didn't know that you can be arrested anytime without an ID card. And this is a serious issue. I now see why policemen are collecting bribe along the road because of ID card, because it's a green light to them. Thank you, Barrister Tanfo. This is coming from Richie in Yaoundé. You want to add, Mr. Photo?
Yes, let me answer that question, talking of summoning somebody and detaining a person. Normally, that is what happened in reality in Cameroon. But that is not, the law does not permit that. Because if you are assumed, an accused is assumed innocent until proven guilty. So if you tell me that I stole something, and because of that, on the basis of that, you go to police or the state council, bring a summon, I attend to the summon, you are supposed to actually prove that I stole. And the only way is that you need to bring your witnesses. I also bring mine, if possible. So normally most people just arrest, and I want to also advise Cameroonians that police in Cameroon are damn corrupt. I'm sorry to say so. But police in Cameroon are, if you have a problem, I will advise that you go to the state council. The state council should send your file to the police.
But is it not the same people that you say they are corrupt? What if the state council sends now?
No, let me give you an experience.
Because I've seen police who are not corrupt.
Well, let me give you an experience which I had. I had an experience. I will not go to the long story, but when the state council sent my file to a certain police station, when the file got there, the second commissioner or the first commissioner of that police did not know actually that the case was from the state council, because since I was in Douala, then the place was somewhere around Southwest. I did not know Ankete, the person that I assigned the case to. So when I saw the person was caught, the assistant police commissioner wanted to play a particular game. But when he saw that the file was from the state council, now he behaved himself, and everything moved on smoothly. Which happens that if I went to the police, they would have played me and just leave it like that. So that is how, let me not say all police, but at least most policemen are corrupt. Most policemen. So you have your problem, go to the state council.
But you are responsible for that, because we've seen police people who are not corrupt and who are doing their job perfectly as it ought to be.
Yes, and I also want to say about this ID card. It depends on the person, because there is a common law system. And there was one day in Boya, I witnessed a case. It was a case of armed robbery. The magistrate, although the law says 10 years, when you commit a felony, you can be sentenced for 10 years or more, but the magistrate can use his discretion. Yes, and even reduce the sentence. Because I noticed that the magistrate told the guys that this case was supposed to, all of you were supposed to go to 25 years. Let me finish. 25 years imprisonment, and at times they will take that plea to the court or say something to the court. The guy, they pleaded, and their case was reduced by 5 years each. So me, at times I have a expired ID. I showed the policeman. He said the ID is expired. I say yes. They need it because there are circumstances that can make your ID to expire in for a month without you being able to. Maybe you can be sick. So any policeman, the reasonable policeman, can know that there are circumstances which can prevent somebody from renewing his ID.
But that fall at the discretion of the policeman, and secondly, fall at the discretion of the magistrate if you are arrested and you present a medical report and say because Barrister Tanfo, I'm sure last week said before someone is arrested, that person has a right to call the medical, the physician, so that they know the state of that person upon arrest, if that person can withstand the arrest.
Normally, before at the discretion of a policeman, yes,
yes. To add to what he's saying is that felonies is 10 years and above. That is, if they sentence you for 10 years, if the sentence is 10 years, it's a misdemeanor. So felonies are above, and it doesn't mean that you cannot benefit from mitigating circumstances. Yes. It is those mitigating circumstances that, like you said, maybe pleading the court, begging for mercy or whatsoever. If they find that if you have been tried for a felony and you benefit from mitigating circumstances, and you are given the 5 years that you are talking to, it's because the judge has taken that into consideration, not that the offense for which you committed goes to be a misdemeanor. No. So it still remains a felony. And to answer that audience who was talking about kidnapping, there are several forms of kidnapping. So but you need, when you are here, we cannot see all the laws. Yeah. So I'll simply just refer him to sections 352 of the Penal Code that talks about kidnapping a child. Sections 353, kidnapping by force or fraud. Sections 354 that talks about aggravated kidnapping. If you commit an aggravated kidnapping and you are found guilty, you can even be, because in Cameroon we still practice the death sentence. So you can be given the highest sentence. So let me just refer himself to those provisions.
Section
352 to 354.
352 talk about kidnapping of a child.
Yes.
So if all under is misdemeanor or felony?
It will not depend on the circumstances whether
that child was kidnapped.
Good, because aggravated kidnapping will be a felony. Maybe kidnapping of a child, it will depend. So let me just.
But if it's something
it's good that when you have a legal issue, you consult a lawyer for him to interpret. Don't be the lawyer yourself. So
to the person who asks about kidnapping, know that the provisions, I think in the Criminal Procedure Code section 352 talked about the penalty or the punishment for someone who kidnaps a child, and section 353 talks about fraud.
Kidnapping by force.
Kidnapping by force
or fraud.
By force or fraud. And section 354 of the Criminal Procedure Code talked about aggravating kidnapping. And these are all factors. Now, you've just brought us to this aspect of aggravating kidnapping and kidnapping itself. Now, people may be tempted to ask that, what if a law enforcement officer gets you arrested without a uniform first, bug you into a car? Let's say, as you explained last time, that you fought law enforcement officers. Let's say you were walking down the street and you just get some few persons get you into a car, and you discover yourself very incommunicado after a while, and you get a habeas corpus, you are released. Can these people be judged under this section 354?
Like I said, the commission is not a court. The commission of compensation is not a court. The commission is there to entertain your case, for you to explain to that maybe I was forcefully arrested, because it also depends. It's not, some arrests could be considered as kidnapping. If you say a law enforcement officer is not with a uniform, you don't know him.
You're walking on the street and you are forced into a car. And you discover yourself in a police station.
Good. And you don't have, and maybe during the circumstance you ask for arrest warrant, which offense have I committed? Nobody is telling you anything, and maybe you don't even know where you're going.
Because like in the case of Anglophone Crise, there are a lot of people.
A lot of people are victims of that, whereby you are walking in the street, you just see some people come and arrest you with force, put you in their van, cover your face, and take you to wheresoever. That's kidnapping. And if you read the provisions of that penal code, you understand that that is not an arrest. That is not a proper arrest, or even an illegal or arbitrary arrest. That is kidnapping. And you are free that after you are also released to also complain against those people if you are able to have the identity, because the difficulty maybe will be you to identify them.
If you can identify the stations that you are taken to.
Yeah, if you can identify the stations, you file, and then from there there's a track record, because like I say, it's like everybody is playing smart. The people who are coming to carry out that act will not want you to identify them. That is why they are dressed in civilian dress. And you too, on your own part, if you are able to defend yourself within that period of kidnapping, that's why I was saying last time that if I have the possibility to defend myself when I'm victim of an illegal or arbitrary arrest, I will do it, because I know that once I'm gone, the story will change. But at this point, if I'm able to defend myself, I will defend myself, because I want that my right should be enforced.
Okay. Greetings to you in the studio. Greetings to you in the house. The police can arrest you for committing a crime with or without a warrant. If you get arrested without a warrant, it is most likely because you committed a crime. If an officer present, if perhaps after an investigation an officer found that you have committed a crime. But my question is, after the investigation, they found that you are a criminal. They found that you are a criminal. Can you be arrested without warrant? My question goes to Barrister in the house, Peter Tem Fearless from China.
Like I said, if you commit a flagrant delicto offense, they will arrest you without a warrant. like I was saying, it's not. There must not necessarily be a warrant before your arrest. If you are committing a flagrant delicto, be it a misdemeanor or a felony, they can arrest anybody.
He said, you were arrested. You were arrested, and after investigation, it shows that you are a criminal. Maybe not for the offense you were arrested. You were not. Let's say you are arrested.
You have precedent.
Yes, you have precedent
on some criminal.
On some criminal act, not relating to the one you have been. Can you be detained without arrest warrant?
They cannot be. You should not be. You cannot take another issue to come and relate to another offense. No, the fact that you have committed an offense, you have been sentenced, right, and you have undergone the imprisonment time, and you come out. It doesn't make you. It is true. You carry that on your non-conviction page, but it doesn't mean that you are a criminal. you are maybe, if for example, you may maybe become maybe seen in the eyes of the law to be a bad person, but it doesn't mean that you are a bad person. So they cannot be mixing your past with
Let me just take on some messages. We have a series of messages. Good afternoon to you. What a great program. Please let this type of program be coming more often, and please, for the number of barrister with a black cap, is Madame Gale writing from Douala. I don't know, barrister, we have permission if I can give your number to Madame Gale.
Yes, you can give her my number for her to contact.
Okay, Madame Gale, after this program, you can get to me. I will send you Barrister Tanfu's number. This one says, hi Jarvis, I am John from Germany. The majority of population of the people of South and Northwest region uses Pidgin English, 95% out of 100%. But 95% out of 100% of their TV programs are in British English. So my question is, do you guys in the panel agree with me that the above problem is the first in list of an Anglophone problem? And second, my question is, does Britain still uses or has a state council? Because in Germany they only have police and the court. This other one read, it says, hi, you guys in the studio, I like your articulation and mastery of the subject matter law. More grace to you, Barrister Tanfu. All I know is that Cameroon is lawless country. This is Ferdinand Langia in Bamenda. Maybe that may not be the case there, Barrister Tanfu. Greetings to House of Commons. David writing from Limbe. I wish to ask Barrister Tanfu that does the local guys in the quarter called vigilante group have the right to demand for an ID card or somebody?
You should also know that beside the law, you have administrative authorities. A vigilante group cannot be operating without the approval of the divisional officer. So if there are vigilante groups in the quarter set up by them and they're asking you your ID card, it's arbitrary, it's not normal. And such attitude should be denounced. But if there's a vigilante group constituted, they are being identified at the divisional office because he is the one who gives them those powers to within his administrative functions is possible. But now, for them to be able to ask your ID card, that's not what the law says. The persons who can ask your ID cards are law enforcement officers, like the police, the gendarme, custom officers, or even magistrates.
What of the military?
Those are law enforcement officers. They can ask. But now, are they asking it because they want to open investigation? Those are law enforcement officers. They can ask.
Okay.
And what is also of your right that you should know is that before you give your official documents to somebody, know the person. Because it's not because somebody is wearing a uniform that he will tell you, hey, give me your ID card, and you give your ID card. No. Sir, and it should be in a polite way, not brutality. If the person is requesting for your ID card, okay, there is no problem. Sir, may I know you? So that I know to whom I'm giving my ID card. And if the person refuses to give his ID card, you are also in your own right to refuse.
But you said he can be arrested now.
That is why I'm saying that you are in your own... Everybody, at this point in time,
it's a blood affair.
The law enforcement officer wants to exercise his function. You to the citizen, you want your rights to be respected. And at times when you tell him that, he will say, oh, this is a citizen that knows his right. And he will tell you, I am maybe commissioner this, I am working in this service.
Is it just normal for just a law enforcement officer to just say, my name is Inspector this, can I have your ID card? Or they should present their ID card before, because those names, just the word, you can say something else.
That is why I say everybody should be vigilant. At times they have names on their uniforms. Yes. It's just vigilance. You cannot. It's not. You will not. You cannot. You can fall. You cannot make everything right. But you yourself, you have to be vigilant, because even some of the lawyers, when they are driving, they reach a checkpoint, instead of presenting their documents, Georgette and barrister this, and he's going. So it all depends on each and everyone's vigilance.
Okay.
If you are not confident in what the man is telling you.
Let me just conclude the message. Happy Sunday to you, House of Commons. Nice topic, and thanks for educating the civilian on the simple law and security issues. The security forces around our environment have become second gods, which they can do what they like to civilians. Please, with Barrister Tanfu's number, sir.
Yeah, you can give me my number. There's no problem.
Okay, I will give all those of you requesting Barrister Tanfu's number. Please, after the program, get to me. I will send you the number. Good day, good afternoon, Mr. Ta and Co. What an educative program. I wish to find out if a person caught committing crime red-handed must we wait for warrant before he is arrested? Muhammad Yaounde. Muhammad, that has been answered, and they said when you are caught right-handed, anybody can arrest you and take you to the legal authority. Yes, Mr. Photo.
Yes, let me talk on that question from China. Normally, when you are arrested on a particular crime, and there were certain crimes that you have committed, those crimes are not yet in your file. Nobody reported those crimes. But the people that you committed the crimes against them, they can use the opportunity, since they know that you are already in a police custody. They bring those this thing again. They bring those other crimes that you committed. That is why you see in your attempts in court, they say count one. Yeah, somebody is summoned on 7-count charge. So maybe you murdered somebody, you were arrested. You have raped somebody before. Maybe you have stolen. All those things like that, they can use that better advantage. And then myself, I had a case which I reported somebody, and other people use advantage. And before I realized, that guy had 4 cases, including mine. That means he had 5-count charge.
Okay.
Some were similar and some were different.
Okay. We are now moving straight now to the different dynamic detention and bail. We've talked about. I know we've talked a bit about them. Let's get into details. Somebody asked a question by Tanfu, a viewer from Facebook, Song Emmanuel Samori. I would like someone to say a thing on what the law says on detention, chained to die on his hospital bed. Not forgetting Pa Ayapo was arrested on Saturday or Cameroun. Now, I want to clarify this issue of arrest on weekends briefly. Those of you watching us, let's get this clarification on arrest on weekends.
Like I said last session, you can be arrested at any time. Now, can you be detained at any time? No. If you cannot be remanded in custody, or your police custody cannot be issued on you on a Saturday, on a Sunday, or public,
above 6 p.m.
or public. No, they can arrest you at any time above 6 p.m. No, the law is not.
No.
I'm telling you,
with ID card you can be arrested at any time, but when it concerns
let him land.
I'm saying that, I repeat, you can be arrested at any time of the day, at night, in the day, at any time. But now you cannot be detention order cannot be if it is not.
I'm sure it's section 30.
If it is not a flagrant delicto.
Yes.
You cannot be. If it is not a flagrant delicto, your detention cannot be ordered on a Saturday, Sunday, or public holiday.
Then where will they take you?
Okay. So they just arrest
when
you.
When you arrested, where will they take you to?
If they arrest you,
yes.
Right? If they arrest you, if you are arrested and it is confirmed that you have committed an offense, obviously you have a warrant of arrest, because at that time you will request for it. But if it is a flagrant delicto, the person needs not show you a warrant of arrest. You arrest you and you detain you. But now when it comes to detention, if it is confirmed that it's not a flagrant delicto, it's a violation of the law if you have been detained Saturday, Sunday.
Not a felony or misdemeanor.
Yes, a public holiday, flagrant delicto. So now they should not confuse with search. It is search that they cannot search your house after 6 p.m. So that is the confusion that maybe they are bringing. Search cannot be conducted into somebody's house after that time. But like arrest, like I said, if you commit an offense at 9 p.m., If they want to arrest you, they will arrest you whether you have a warrant.
That one is clear.
Good.
But the fact that a warrant, because now, why should they even issue a warrant against you in the first place? Why should they issue a warrant against you that you can be arrested at any time? Because you have gone against the law.
When you
must go against the law before they issue a warrant. They cannot issue a warrant when you have not gone against the law.
How do you know that you have gone against the law?
For instance, as I said before, if they summon you and you don't attend to the summon, you have gone against the law.
No, I want to. We are out of. Let's look at this. Yes. My context is, we've clarified that you talked about who issued an arrest warrant. I'm sure you talked about that from the beginning of the program. Now let's go to detention. Barrister Thankful and Photo. Let's look at detention.
Yes, detention. I told you had police detention. No, police. Yes, police custody.
Custody.
Yes, is that still detention?
Yes.
Or remand in custody? I think we have talked about those ones.
Yes.
And then now we should be talking about bail.
Yes, bail.
Yes,
yes.
Because we should know that there's a possibility for you to be granted bail, be it at the level of the police and be it before the the state council or before the examining magistrate or even before the court. So where in every situation that if it's at the police, you are free to ask for bail. That bail can either be a bail that will ask you to pay some caution, that is money you pay to the state, or you bring guarantors. Because when you look at the provisions of the Criminal Procedure Code around 218, 218 to 221, I think, you see those what bail is all about, and the guarantee that I'm talking about is 249G. So if you are at the level of if you have been arrested and you are at the level of the police, you have the right to ask for bail. If it's a bailable offense, they must give, because detention is they should be thinking about detaining you to be the last resort, because at that point in time you still benefit from what they call presumption of innocence. You are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So your detention should not be a priority. If you are able to identify or tell the investigator that you have a known place of abode, because we saw the case of our IT celebrity Rebecca Enonchong, who was arrested, detained, whereas she could benefit from
presumption of innocence.
She benefits, not that she could. It's a
legal right.
It's a legal right that she benefits from that presumption of innocence. And at that stage, she also had the possibility to be granted bail because she has a known place of abode. She was able to even bring guarantors. She was even able to pay some caution if that was a problem, because she had not committed a felony. Yeah. It's only when you commit a felony that your bail cannot be granted. But if you commit a misdemeanor, flagrant delicto, or which other or simple offenses, you have the possibility to be granted bail, be it at the level of the police, be it before the state council, be it at the examining magistrate, or before the court.
Now, this issue of bail, you owe somebody money, you are taken into custody, and you are refused bail. What does that fall under? If you owe somebody money.
If you owe somebody money.
Yes.
If you owe money. The
yes.
money.
And you accept that you pay.
No, wait. Owing money in which context?
Let's say I borrowed you money.
If you owe somebody that maybe I come to Jarvis, I say, Jarvis, borrow me 100,000 francs, and we sign a document. That's a debt. It becomes civil.
Civil offense.
But if I come and tell Jarvis that, Jarvis, we have a business, I have a business and I want you to join, and you give me 100,000 francs for me to put into the business, that's not more borrow. You have used tricks on me. You have used tricks on me. If you don't pay back, you have used tricks on me to collect. I've used tricks on you to collect the money. It now becomes a different thing, false pretense. Yes. So that you will not say, oh, Barrister Thankful is owing me 100,000.
So you go now to section 353.
No, it will go to sections 318 of the penal code. Okay, so those things are there are the circumstances that will guarantee whether it is a crime. Because just so you somebody is owing me, the person is owing you under which circumstances? What happened for him to be?
In the case where he borrows,
if he comes and borrow, that is a civil debt, and it has a civil procedure of asking for recovery, not the police. But
But in Cameroon is the police.
That is why I'm saying that in Cameroon,
yes,
police are becoming recovery agents. No. That he came in the name of borrow. Jarvis, borrow me money. There's a written document and everything. That is borrow. It becomes a civil debt. I didn't force you to give me the money. I didn't use tricks on you to give me the money. It is true you have given me the money and I have not respected the date. When I don't respect the date, you have civil actions to file to recover your money. So it doesn't make it criminal. So it's just because we use
now in cases where you are taken to police custody, you are held in a cell for 2 weeks.
Those are moral pressures. Those are moral.
Can you sue the police for violating your
right?
Of
course. Those are moral
because people need to know. They don't know the things.
You can sue the police because those are moral pressure that want to put you under pressure. Because so many people when they hear the seal, immediately as they say they will keep you. you start reasoning. So you start reasoning and you are doing everything possible to pay. But if you know you are right, also one thing, you should not be a dishonest citizen. If you have borrowed somebody's money, the person took kind to give you, make sure that you also return.
Even the state borrows now, and even
the state, the state borrows, but you are not the state. The state borrows.
If a state can borrow, what of an individual barrister?
Yeah, people borrow. It's not a crime or a taboo for somebody to borrow money. No, when you borrow, make sure that you also pay back in good faith because the person gave it to you in good faith.
It's for two you want to react.
Yes, I want to say that police. Most people when you are owing somebody, they tell you police. They just because at times you even plan. Somebody will even plan that as I'm bringing him, just lock him up. And when you are willing to say, okay, maybe this money is 500,000, make sure that he gives that money before you release him. A policeman will hold you there for maybe weeks, and your family will be moving around looking for you. But normally, as the barrister said, debt is civil offense. So it's not a criminal offense that you always say. You say that it's only felonies that cannot be granted bail. Yes, only on felonies. So not the serious offense that I will own you take me to the police. The fact is that if most Cameroonians know they're right, most policemen would have lost their jobs. That is the truth. Most policemen would have lost their jobs.
Before coming now to the other topic, if bail is free and what are the procedures for bail, good afternoon, Legal Minds. Good afternoon, Legal Minds in the house. Good afternoon to the Legal Minds in the house. Guardians and very imperative because we are happy with guardians and very imperative because the common people in Cameroon suffer from ignorance. But my question is, I was summoned by the divisional officer, so can I call the type of someone? So can I call that a type of someone?
Look, when that someone is a legal words. It's an invitation.
It's an invitation, exactly.
As they can summon me, the police can summon me, for example, let me report today. And I think that, no, I am not free. I have the right to inform them or send my lawyer to write to them and tell them that I am not available on this day. I'll be available on this other day. So a summon should not be taken as if it's a
you're already guilty.
You're already guilty or it's a threat. No,
okay.
It's an invitation. And as a law-abiding citizen, if they summon you on this day, if you know that you are not reproaching yourself or anything, why not report?
Send someone.
Good day, panel. I am Luis from Limbe. I am happy for such a program, but I want to insist that ID card is not part of the body and can be forgotten at home or elsewhere. The police can interrogate you to know your identity than to take you to custody and demand for money even when your ID card is brought to you later.
Yes, that is like I said, it's not all the police officers who harass people or who want to violate the law. If he asked your ID card, it may happen at times. I leave the house without me having an ID card. And if I'm being stopped by a police officer and he asks my ID card, if he knows that, okay, I have the possibility to bring it, I'll call somebody at home that, please, bring my ID card, and immediately it reaches, he can leave. So
we have had circumstances that these people are not releasing.
They will release you. Mr. Like I said, we are living a system which is corrupt. They hold you without even ID card. The language they want to hear is that, how much do you have?
Because, Barrister, let me give you an example. I know, let's come. There are people watching us now in Northwest and Southwest who have been victim of this circumstance that you get into your house you are outside in your doing your normal activities, as you said, a police asks you an ID card there, you say, okay, let me just get inside my house and get the ID card. They say, no, you cannot go here under arrest.
The problem is that you know that the circumstances are different. We are the Northwest and Southwest are like security. No, I want to use that word. The security atmosphere is tense, whereby you cannot bring that kind of excuse and they hear you easily. Because of the security the situation is under security, maybe control. You also have to be prudent. So if they ask your ID card and you say it's at home or this, like I said, the security situation is a problem.
Let's say you are sitting at your veranda. That is why I've said they have been sitting and they say, okay, ID card.
It's because of the atmosphere, the security conditions. The security atmosphere there is not more conducive. Okay. And that is why you see people are taking the laws into their hands. So, but if the situation were in a normal state, normal peace state, like for example in Douala, I don't see why a police officer will have to hammer on you because you are in your veranda and you don't have an ID card, whereas you can easily enter the room and get it. You understand? So it's because there the security atmosphere is tense, and he thinks that maybe even before even coming to ask you, he already had some pre-knowledge against you or whatsoever. Okay. And he believes that you tell him that you are going to take it, maybe you just enter.
Good day. My name is Mark from Limbe. I actually sureted my kid's brother on a transaction that went wrong, which I took engagement to pay. I have been paying that, but due to circumstances beyond my control, I was detained for almost 2 weeks, even though the matter was taken to court.
Well, you see, like I said, there are some people who, if you are the police, they will be there for 3 months. Yes. You ask yourself that they arrest you today. After 2 or 3 days, you go out. You come back again after a week or 1 month. You still see that same person there. And you ask that person that, what are you doing here? The man himself is confused. Whereas you have state councils who go on weekly basis to visit those cells. But when at times they want to come to those cells, they will pick the person and hide somewhere.
Hide them somewhere.
So, and now it's the rule of human rights advocates like us that, okay, when we have that kind of situation, we'll go and investigate, because nobody will stop me from doing that. I'll go and I'll take cognizance of the situation, and I know what exactly to do. So that is why we say that you should continue to empower human rights advocates, because the job that they are doing they're doing it even at times from their own pockets. So if it's not a human rights advocate, such cases will not draw his attention, or NGOs who are engaged into human rights activities. So all those violations are there. Even in prison, at times you have been in prison, they have sentenced you, you have passed your period of imprisonment, you have already served your period of imprisonment, but because nobody is there to bring up your case that this person is not more supposed to be here, and you continue to be there. So those cases are very, very common in Cameroon, and it's not only in Cameroon and even elsewhere. But we will not keep on folding around. That is why you see human rights groups are being formed. Lawyers are there to remedy the situation, and that is what we should be doing. Continue fighting for the enforcement of people's rights, educating citizens on their rights, and even the citizens themselves to know the law.
You want to react briefly?
Yes, and like on that ID, for instance, like the barrister is like that. If he forgets his ID, only a policeman looking at him, you can know that this man is a responsible man. The fact is that dress well, dress decently. Good. You cannot have. I will not be a policeman, and I see you say I forgot my ID. I see you with your ring, your ears, and your nose. Maybe your trouser is under your buttocks, and you expect me to leave you go. It's not possible.
But there's freedom now. Freedom
yes,
of dressing, freedom of speech, freedom of association. So that person is enjoying this right of freedom.
There's also what they call decency.
Decency.
You should be decent.
So you need to be decent.
It's just like the recent case where you see a man dressed in a women's dress. You think that if the policeman asks his ID card and he's not having, the policeman will leave him. The policeman will not leave him because he will not understand how a man is dressed in woman attire. Though there is freedom of dress, as you are saying, but he will first of all arrest you and he will ask your ID card.
What the law teaches on surety and guarantors should be emphasized.
Yes, when you talk about security, the provision of the Criminal Procedure Code says that if you are faced with, if there's an offense whereby you can benefit from bail, the state can decide to say, okay, maybe somebody should take you on bail. maybe by paying a security of maybe 500,000 francs or 100,000 or 2, depending on how the issue of security of the issue of that bail is just to guarantee the fact that at any time that
you are needed,
they are needed,
yes,
you should be, that person should be able to bring you. So that is why there is been at times it's even they will just take they'll actually bring somebody to come and take you as guarantor, where the person just simply comes and gives his identity card information and so those you have securities that you can pay some money to secure that this person is going to come back, or people will come and take you on bail, and those are the guarantors, so that tomorrow when you don't appear, those people can be held responsible.
Jimmy from my 18 says, good morning, House of Commons. I have these two worries. Is it lawful for a police officer or officers to move without any warrant or special assignment into student residential area and make arrests or ask students to present their ID cards around their neighborhood? And how lawful or unlawful is it for a police officer to request your phone and search through?
No, it's not.
You know, for security,
normally, briefly, so that
yes, can normally the policeman is not supposed to come around and start searching people's house without search warrant. Normally, the fact is that policemen know that we don't know the law. Policemen in Cameroon know that we don't know our rights. That is why they are doing all those things and going to go away. At times, it's good that some of us we should sacrifice all our resources, sacrifice our time, sacrifice our energy, and make sure that we make some of these policemen get into a book. Yes, to take some of these policemen to the State Council. Because the State Council, one thing we need to know that policemen are under the State Council. The State Council can summon any policeman at any time, even the Commissioner of Police.
Okay.
Yes, at any time. So we need to make sure that we know our rights.
Okay.
Yes, I was saying that searches, you know,
lawful and unlawful.
Yeah, no, not that we are living a situation explained in the Northwest. I understand why these questions are coming up, because they are victims of abuses, and I continue to say it's because of the insecurity atmosphere, the security atmosphere that they are living in those two regions, whereby for security reasons, that is how they will put it. For security reasons, we are forced to enter and search a house without a search warrant. That is why they will be using as excuse. But if we were in a peaceful environment, nobody has a right to enter a house without a search warrant. No, nobody. But because of the security atmosphere that these people are victims of such abuses, and it is high time that we make them understand that even though they have been victims of such circumstances, they should not surrender. They should be able to file complaints that I was victim of this, so that they should explain to him that why should they carry such a measure on him, whereas he has not committed offense.
Because I understand you have saved a lot of people from this brutality. You have had a lot of people rescued based on these issues. This person, greetings, House of Commons. I am Jesper Mbamenda. Thanks for educating the public on the Cameroon Penal Code. Please, for Barrister Thankful's number.
No problem, you can give him my number.
Greetings, House of Commons. I am in prison and I need Barrister Thankful's number. Thanks for educating us here. I have been here for 1 year, 8 months on bail, but still in prison.
Yeah, the problem you should understand is that for people asking my number, I know that my services too are not free. Because a lawyer is not a civil servant. You pay for my services. Okay. So if people are requesting my number, they should know that.
We know that they know those.
Yeah, but actually it's good that I reiterate that, because you will be giving my numbers. They will think that no, Barrister, I'm in prison, or Barrister will just come and save me. No,
at least my number. You are saving Cameroonians.
Yes, they will give them my numbers, but I also want them to know that Barrister services are paid.
At least you are helping Cameroonians. Even if it's for free, it's a moral responsibility now.
Yes, but I'll be doing so. I will be doing so to my best of means.
Good day, good afternoon, Brandon from Bamenda. What about cases where you present your ID card to the police and they keep you with them demanding money?
Yes, even I have witnessed that, and I've witnessed that within the Bamenda Road, and I told those people that is extortion, because when they arrest you without an ID card and the person is asking you that give something, that's the money that he could have encouraged you. What he was supposed to do is that he will arrest you at that time and bring you to a police station and make you that you use that money to establish an ID card.
So he was arrested with an ID card.
He was arrested with an ID card, and he's arrested.
Yes, and they asked him money.
No, then that's extortion. Why is he give? Why should you give money?
Money.
No.
Give the money. He's giving the money for
what? You Cameroonians, you always think that illegality is not becoming law.
That is it.
It's not because that.
That's
It's
what
not
is
because
Cameroon.
if you accept to sell your rights, me I will not sell my rights.
Okay.
Normally.
We're out of time. Good afternoon, House of Commons. My name is Achu Tambe Fabrice, Director of Nitemba Foundation, an organization that is out to protect and promote the respect of human rights. One of our major objectives is to create awareness of the law because of the principle that says ignorance of the law is not an excuse. I love the program and I would like to have Barrister Tanfu's contact. I would like to work with him. Barrister Tanfu.
Yes, you can give my number. There's no problem.
Good day, gentlemen. Nice educative program out there. I love the encouragement to address decency. It is very important. Our youth, please, let's dress well. It will help keep some of us out of trouble. A happy Sunday, Fai John in Bamayo. Good afternoon to you, House of Commons. You guys are doing a good work. Please, I need the lawyer. I need a lawyer like Barrister Tanfu, please, for his number. I am Adamu from Tiku. This other one reads, he says, I am Ayuk from Limbe. I am happy once again for such a program. My city have been invaded more than one time in Boya, and we were carried out to a location and our ID card phones were taken for reasons we don't know. Also, the police and no more law enforcement, but they are the law now. I have asked the police officer who is, and I was taken to a station. Greetings, Legal Mind. Learned a lot from your program today, but what worries me right now is it right for any police or gendarme to request your phone and search, even check your mobile money account balance or search your wallet? In cases like that, how do one come back at them? Alaji Goodman from Douala.
Yes, you should know that you are not. Nobody has a right to violate or infringe on your personal right. Searching your phone, is it who authorized him to search? I will never give you my codes. If there's a search warrant that authorizes you to search my code, okay, I'll submit to it. But if somebody will not, and a law enforcement himself will not just ask you on the street that give me a phone, and you give the phone, you don't even know to who you are giving, ask you to your code, and you are taking your phone and giving to him for him to manipulate, and he goes to your mobile money, asks your code, and you are giving, then you are making yourself stupid. It is your property. He's not the one who bought it for you. If he wants to take it by force, he takes it, maybe because you don't have the same force that he's having. Okay, but what will force you to give him the number? Me, I will not give. If it is me, I'm not giving. So you should know. The point is that you should also know how to respect your rights.
Barrister, let's be realistic.
Me, I am
one slap can make you open your phone.
Then you are weak. Then, in that case, whose fault? Whose fault? The slap?
But
is it a slap?
Should be that. If it is in the northwest or southwest, at least I can understand. But in Douala, it cannot happen to me.
In Douala, it cannot happen. Of some security situation.
Yes, in Douala, it cannot.
Because of the security atmosphere, some law enforcement officers become the law.
Yeah, that is it.
But me, even if I'm in northwest or southwest, I will not give because I know how to enforce my right, and if it's above me, no problem.
Okay, we are out of time. To do an ID card in Cameroon is a problem, and the money we spend to get one is a problem. As Cameroonians, why humiliate us because of ordinary ID card? I think since the government knows that, I've heard numerous complaints about ID card issues. Birth certificates should be used partially. Besides, we can look a Cameroonian from face. Okay, we are out of time. Barrister Tanfu, it's been briefly. So bail is free.
Yes, bail is free. That's what the law says, but it's not what is being practiced. When even we the lawyers, when we go to enforce bail, that bail is free, it is difficult for us to get it. That is why you see, there's a continuous struggle to make sure that the criminal procedure code is respected. Bail in principle is free, except you are paying what is being authorized by the law. If they have asked you to pay caution, you will pay the money and have a receipt. If you don't have a receipt, then that bail is not more free. But we know how, especially in cosmopolitan towns, that you never obtain bail if you don't give. But it is not all me. I don't do it. I'll never do it. If I'm not able to obtain bail according to how the law says, then my client will be forced to be under that illegal detention, and I'll use other remedies. But for me to say, okay, I need to buy your bail with money or do this, no, those are illegal practices, and we should shun from such practices. So bail is free, and you should make sure that whenever you have challenges, you make the officer to understand that you know your rights. And like I said, it is first of all good for citizens to educate themselves. When you educate yourself, even the officer before you will know that this is a citizen that knows his right.
Photo, thank you for coming. Your last word before we part company.
Oh yes, I also want to say that when you have a shorty, normally you're not supposed to give any amount. But if you don't have a shorty, that's when the court asks you to deposit the particular amount, which you will forfeit it if you don't come back. If they see that it's a bailable offense. Yeah. Yes, when you forfeit the amount if you don't come back. But you have a shorty, there is no need for you to give a particular amount. So I just want to correct that. So I want to wish everybody happy Sunday. And I also want to urge Cameroonians that we should actually read books, because the Cameroon penal code is just about 1,000 francs outside there, and it's in English and in French. So we should buy it and educate ourselves. Because myself, I've been victim many times, and we've been free just because of, at least I know my right, I know the right of each Cameroonian.
Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister Tanfu. Seemingly, a lot of Cameroonians are asking us to be taking issues on legal, that they are being educated, that they will beg if you can be coming often.
Yes, I'll do whenever I'm available. You know, we'll not teach them the law on a platform like this.
These basic things help.
We can give them we can give them the basic knowledge. Yeah. But you don't be contented that with those basic things and you say you already know the law and you can start teaching. No. Always make sure that you seek the services of legal minds or lawyers, people who will be able to really interpret those provisions better for you and stand to defend your rights.
Okay, Barrister Tanfu, maybe somebody may want to get to you, your number, maybe you give them officially or I send them privately.
No, you can give my numbers to them privately. There's no problem.
Okay. This program comes up every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. Rebroadcast is on Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Another rebroadcast will be on Monday at 9:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. It will be on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is BT Media Group. BT Media Group is our YouTube channel where you can get all of our programs on My Media Prime on our YouTube channel. Our Twitter handle is My Media Prime. Our Facebook page, My Media Prime. Instagram, My Media Prime. I leave you with this: no matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. And what should matter for you is that no one hands are tied, especially the government ministers. No one hands are tied. It only becomes tight when they want to do something that they feel will not benefit their pocket. My name is Tamai Jarvis from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, Fengudong, Bange Koto, Bonamusadi. Bye-bye.